say, I'll make your belly full, so heterosexual. Mommies give brains, so intellectual. Face gonna get you, keep you mesmerized, baby. When I'm with you, I will split your thighs and I take my time with it, mind right with it, be on the grind with it, all night in it. It's how I get it, it's how I lick it. After I spit, that's a hit. You know we do everything we want. There's anything if you want anything, you gotta do everything. Yes, everything.
Hi guys, hope you guys are well and taking good care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me on another video. Now I've just gotten back from Nigeria and yeah, Nigeria was an experience. Managed to feed 300 people in a market. Was inexpensive. Like, Nigeria can be actually really cheap in terms of the pound and the naira rate. I think it's like £1 is 2,000 naira at the moment. So you can actually get a lot of things done over there. Now, in terms of going around the world and feeding people, Nigeria was somewhere I was going to stop off later on in the year, but since I was there already, I thought might as well, you know, do what I can now and then go somewhere else later. Now, my review on Nigeria: if you are someone who has a drone like myself, if you go into Nigeria, the first thing you have to do once you land is declare your drone, right? You know, when they have something to declare and nothing to declare, declare your drone. If you declare your drone, you will get given paperwork. Now, the paperwork would allow you on your return to show the paperwork and show that, yes, you are not someone who is military trained or someone who's coming to spy on the country, because drones are actually illegal now. Whether you put it into your suitcase or your hand luggage, they will see it and they will confiscate it if you don't present to them that paperwork. Now, I was lucky. I have a DJI drone. It looks more like a toy. So when they saw that, they was like, oh, this is just a toy. You go ahead and continue. But if you guys want to save yourself some headache, declare your drone at the airport when you land, so that when you leave, you have the paperwork stating that you brought it and you're only doing it for fun. You may have to show them some footages as well. Now, in terms of buying things, like I said, it's actually very cheap. You can buy a meal for £2 and be full for half the day. You can buy shopping for like £50 and it will last a whole month. Now, with Nigeria, when you're spending and you're going to do some shopping, it's not like UK where you go to the store and you buy one product. You go to the market and you buy a few of that product. So it's like you're spending more money, but it's more food, more products that you'll get for your money. Travel is quite easy in Nigeria. However, there are a load of, like, it's called go slow. It's because the cars are going slow, but it's traffic. There's a whole load of traffic, and when traffic builds up in Nigeria, it's almost like there's nothing you can do. There's no back roads or anything that you can take, and you're just sitting there for hours. Fortunately for me, I didn't go out too much, so I wasn't stuck in any traffic. There was also some elections, like a mayor or something. Yeah, like a mayor election whilst I was there. And whilst there was an election going, nobody travels. So everybody stays at home. Those who are going to vote, go and vote. So yeah, that was an experience. To know that the whole of Lagos where I was, didn't go out except for to vote. One thing I also noticed as well is to make sure that if you are going to be driving, you have your paperwork right, because unlike here, there aren't that many traffic lights. However, there are plenty of police officers, individuals who work for the government who are managing traffic. Now, those who are managing traffic, some people see them as opportunists and some people see them as, you know, good normal workers. For me, it was just, okay, this is their job, this is what they do. However, they have the ability to hold you, keep you, and make you either go and pay fines or finance their pockets. Now, those of you finance their pockets, they will let you go with a warning, but it could happen continuously until your paperwork is right. So if you're going to be driving, make sure all your paperwork is right for the car, for your license, for yourself. If you are in an Uber, it's not your issue. To enjoy a place like Lagos, you have to go to the island. It's called Lagos Island, and it's basically like here. Everything is developed, all the roads, all the side roads are all developed, and they are maintaining the place, which shows that, you know, you can actually maintain buildings and roads with a small fee. However, if you are like me and you want to live amongst the people, you will stay in the mainland. Now, in the mainland, things are still a little bit underdeveloped. Most of the major roads are tarmacked. However, on the side roads, it's still very rural. You'll get roads where there's a whole crater, that's their potholes, or roads that have been diminished by the rain, because in Africa, unlike here, when it rains, it's like torrential rainfalls. Every rainfall, it's heavy. So it's not like here where you get drizzles and it might drizzle for the whole day. If you get drizzles in Nigeria, prepare for a rainfall. And when there's a rainfall, everybody runs inside, hides inside, because it's just heavy, heavy water. Other than that, Nigeria was nice. It was warm, waking up in the morning to 22 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius all day with a slight breeze. Nigeria is a nice country to recharge, especially if you're an entrepreneur, someone who wants to find their hustle again. It's a good place to go, put your feet on the ground, have a look around, spend a little time and see the opportunities or see the work ethic of Nigerians, and it will give you a boost when you come back here. So these are the positives with Nigeria. Now, the negatives is this. Whilst I was there feeding these people in the market, I realized that I was able to feed 300 people by myself. Now, I'm not at the present moment in time rich. However, I have the ability, like most people, to give back. Now, I'm not calling for everybody to empty their pockets and give back to everybody who's undeserving or whatever the situation is. What I'm saying is that Nigeria could be so much better. Nigeria is known as the biggest African country, right? It's known as the wealthiest African country. But if you go to the mainland, not the island, the mainland in Lagos, it's gonna seem quite confusing, because although, yes, there's a lot of money and people do have money, the road conditions aren't great, the housing conditions aren't great, and people are hustling for what it seems to be a never end to the money that they require, to the money that they need. For example, a rent for a house, I don't know how much it is now, but it's paid on a yearly basis. If you don't have rent for a house, you'll be literally on the street. And being on the street in Nigeria is not easy at all. This is a place that still gets constant blackouts. Even though Nigeria sells the materials to give electricity to other countries constantly, they still cut the electricity off. Just like in Gambia, where the electricity will go off momentarily, in Nigeria it goes off every day for a few hours at a time. And what usually happens is, if you are in that sort of situation, you have to be careful that your products that you have plugged into the walls don't trip out with a constant on and off of the electricity. Also, when it comes to the electricity, you are still paying on a monthly basis for this. So even though you don't have electricity, you're still paying for it. Okay, so in Nigeria, there are certain practices that don't really make any sense as to why it is like this. A lot of people will say it's the government, it's corruption. However, whilst being there for a month, I sat down and I was thinking to myself, okay, granted, there is corruption, but most countries have corruption in them. The problem that I think Nigeria has is that there are a load of Nigerians living in Nigeria still waiting for the government to do something. Now, what you will notice is every house and building or complex in Nigeria has been built by one person. It's not a group of people that are building buildings. It's one person that is investing in land and building this land. Now, what I would suggest is when you go and you build land in Nigeria, you should also make sure that the area that you're building in is also developed. This is the reason why there's a disconnect between those that live in villages, those that live in mainlands and islands, right? Because people will get their money, buy a house, might not even maintain that house. The paint will get beaten by the sun, it will discolor. Because of the sun, there's a whole load of maintenance that you need to do, and people just don't do them. Once they have their house, that's it. Now, what people also do is, even though they've built a house, if the roads are rural, they don't think to build the roads or to fix the roads because they're waiting for the government to do it. However, I think this is a bad idea, because if you're waiting for the government to do something that they have never done, you'll be waiting forever. One of the main issues that I see everywhere in Nigeria is rubbish. Now, on the main highways, you'll find rubbish neat and stacked on the sides of the roads. However, you would sometimes find this all along a particular stretch of road, which causes traffic when the bin men come around to try and pick up all of this waste. They will end up driving slowly along a road to pick up everything, where if it were designated, the garbage truck or the bin truck, it wouldn't be trundling along the whole road. It would stop maybe say a quarter mile at a time, which will free up traffic. But for some reason, people are not thinking about this. Also, in the side roads, these bins are essential. So on the side roads, you'll find that bins are not only, or should I say, rubbish is not only piled on the side, it's piled everywhere. Even the gutters that are there to help with the drainage issues, they will have rubbish in them, and they will have rubbish in them for years. If the locals, the people that are living there, are maintaining the cleanliness of these areas, there should be no issue for the government to come in and then do the rest, right? If you show the government that yes, you are able to maintain cleanliness, maintain a road, then putting forward the demand of fixing that road with whatever the economy is making is not such a far-fetched request, right? Because right now, if a government official is looking to clean up any of the rural roads, one, they'll have to get rid of all the rubbish. Two, they'll have to maintain the road, get rid of clear all the gutter, right? And then put street lights, things like this, traffic lights as well. And then people will have to maintain them. However, if you have enough money to build a house, and these houses are not like houses over here. A house in Nigeria is like a mansion over here, right? And there is so much land. And if you are able to build this house, you should be able to make sure the pavement in front of your house leading up to the road is also developed. It will help your house, it will help the value of your house, the value of your area. So if you see it as a waste of money, you shouldn't really be buying a house somewhere where it has rural roads, because this essentially will help you in terms of your property value, the area, the safety of the area, right? And if you are able to collectively, with a bunch of people that have bought on the same road, fix your road, the value, I won't stress enough, the value will go up. Not only will the value go up, the safetiness of the place will go up. So the children usually just play on the street. If you have street lights, it will be safe. More people will be inclined to respect the fact that it is a clean area. If you were to leave it rural, those people that are coming into the area, they will disrespect the area because the area doesn't seem to be maintained. If you maintain your area, those people coming into the area will have some level of respect and not destroy what has been built. You'll see it all over Nigeria, every rural road, those that are slightly destroyed. Further down that same road, there are more potholes, more, like, the roads are really, really bad. And the roads are fixed, right? What you will find is that the people actually appreciate this. They don't destroy the roads again once it's been fixed. So I went to Nigeria using an airline called F.A.C.E. F.A.C.E is a Nigerian airline flown by Nigerian pilots and also Nigerian attendants. Now, the F.A.C.E, not only is it a direct flight from London to Nigeria, it also does a direct flight from St. Lucia to Nigeria. You can hardly feel anything on the landing and the takeoff, right? So I do recommend to fly F.A.C.E. They are a good airline. They also serve some jollof rice up in there. They serve seasoned chicken up in there. You know, they have your usual bread and your margarine or butter, but they serve decent foods in there. Also, when you ask for a drink, you just get a can rather than it being poured. So that's also a good look. What you might find is, going into Nigeria, you'll find that less people may be on the plane. If less people are on the plane, you can be cheeky and ask for a different seat for you to stretch out your legs, that kind of thing. But on the way back, you will always find that there are a load of people leaving Nigeria. So it will be crowded, there will be some tension, but this is just like every other airline. When there's a slight delay, people get frustrated, and just, you know, that's just the way it is. Nigeria is very interesting. There's a lot of potential still. There's a lot of room for it to grow. A lot more people need help than 300. And I believe that if we, as a collective of people who go to Nigeria or even Gambia, if you learn to give back, there will be a far less disconnect between the rich, or should I say those who have and those who don't have. I think it's very important to note that when you go to a country and you want to live there, if you do decide to build there, to try to do something for the community whilst you're there. If you do this, right, I'll give you an example. So for those people who live on the mainland and those people who live on the island, those who live on the island, they actually spend more money to live because of the amenities that's around them. Now, if you are wealthy and you're in Nigeria, you know everybody will call you boss man, boss lady, whatever, in order to ask you for some money. It's everywhere. When they see somebody who has money, this is how they are. Nigerians are just a lot more bolder to ask you, rather than here in England where you'll be side-eyed, people plot against you and things like that. In Nigeria, they'll boldly ask you, right, hey, I'm hungry, you got something for me? That kind of thing. I don't like people begging, but knowing the situation that some certain people are in, it's not something I can be mad at, right? Now, the point that I'm trying to make is this. Imagine that you're living in Nigeria, in somewhere where it's exclusive. The moment you step outside of your house, you will be begged for money. You may see it as harassment, right? Now, you will then also question your safety. If you are planning on having a family and living in Nigeria, the question of your family and your children's safety will also pop up. Now, if everybody around you is suffering, what kind of life or safety are you expecting to have? If you are able to upgrade your area, don't not just buy a house, make sure the area is good, or make sure that the people who are struggling are being helped. The safety aspect for you and your children will be far greater, okay? You will feel less unsafe because less people will be bugging you for money. Less people will be bugging you for things, okay? Less people will be looking at you as a target, and also your children. So if you do decide to live in a place like Nigeria, you need to make sure if you have enough money to buy land and build on that land, if you have enough money to buy a 80 million naira house, you should still try to put 2 million aside maybe for some bins, or to just do your portion of the road. This will encourage everybody else to know that when they build on that road, they should also do their portion of the road. If everybody does this, then what will happen is those who come into your area will not automatically know that this place you have to treat a certain way. It's automatic. People throw rubbish on every part of the ground if the ground isn't maintained. If it is maintained, they find somewhere else to throw their rubbish. It's human nature.